Hello, hello, beautiful girls. How are you? Thank you guys for joining today.
Hello.
Hi, Laura. How are you doing?
Good, good,
Good,
good. Very
good.
excited.
Awesome. I am so excited that you guys have decided to come in on this very short notice to ceremony. I'm always saying like, oh, I love to hold these. And I wasn't gonna do one today, and Spirit was like, "Oh no, you get to do one last minute, and whoever is meant to show up is meant to receive this." So I'm very excited to see you guys here. Samantha, where are you from? I think it's from the States. Layla, States. Laura, you're in
Yeah,
or
I'm
Samantha.
from I'm from the States. I'm out on camera because I just got out of the shower and
No,
don't
no
want to be.
worries.
And but yeah, I'm from the States and I'm here in Medellin for a little bit,
Oh,
traveling for like a couple of years.
awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Well, thank you for taking some time for yourself. And I know Laura's from Colombia. We've been in touch as well. So yeah, this is exciting. So some people might pop in. Like I said, it was just last minute, so we'll see. But this is normally how I hold ceremonies. I do this twice a month. I'm a spiritual teacher, first of all. My name is Sorimar, and I help people kind of raise different states of consciousness into basically connecting to your soul, learning the language of your soul so that you can create freedom and abundance and manifest your desires. So the moon cycles are really important, especially as women. We have our, menstrual period. And we're learning to new ways to connect with Mother Earth, new ways to connect with ourselves. And the moon helps us in process what we're meant to let go of this month and giving us the new passageway to connecting with the next month's energy. So when we in the ancient times, as our ancestors have done, they have worked with the moon to manifest, and I like to hold two separate ceremonies, a full moon and a new moon. In full moons, we're always doing a lot of energetics on letting go. And with the new moon, we are actually creating, right? Whatever we let go for 2 weeks prior, with the new moon, we're actually setting intentions. And from this new moon to the next month's new moon, we work on those intentions. And I've seen great results in my ceremonies and private clients where we get to really hold ourselves accountable. Okay, from this new moon to the next new moon, we're going to work and focus on these things. And so that's what I want to bring you guys today. I'll give you a little rundown. In a ceremony, you're going to need paper, you're going to need a pen. We're going to write down some goals and intentions. And I'm going to really shortly, while you guys get all that, talk about what this moon is and why it's so important. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand or come on camera and ask. This is a very engaging place, so I'm more than happy to have you guys and have an open discussion. So this new moon today is very important. It's the new moon in Aquarius. And Aquarius is all about transformation. It's all about changing technology. It's about us who see a vision and are innovators and have this calling for change to finally start to put things into action. And we're going to be in this energy, believe it or not, for another 10 years. So it is important that we start off in this year with aligned action, but also really, hi, baby, really great intention setting. All right. Like, how can we change our lives, but how can we change this in a way that we can globally impact the world? So the new moon in Aquarius is asking us, one, to observe where are we feeling stuck or where things are not working out. So like I want you guys to all kind of take a look and quick scan your life. Like what's not feeling good? Is it finances? Is it relationships? Is it where you live? Is it how you have held and carried yourself or disconnection with yourself? Is it you know, go- moving on and on? It could be business, it could be many things. And then I want you to guys notice in the next coming days, the energies are starting to shift where we might have an all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm done with this, completely done energy. And this is what the new moon is bringing really radical, fast shifts. And a lot of them could be uncomfortable. Like I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting. I've been sitting in my chair and I'm like, okay, what's coming? What is moving? And it could be health, it could be anything, right? We're all asking different things, but we could get fired from a job, we could end a relationship, we could decide that we want to move, all of a sudden. And this is what this new moon is really allowing us to change and to embody. So if happens, I want you guys to just be like, okay, this is what it is. I'm open to change. Because if we form any type of resistance of the things that are changing, we're going to experience pain. And so with this new moon, I'm going to ask you guys to just sit back and be like, okay, what is uncomfortable? How can I allow that to flow a little bit easier? And what changes can I start taking that I'm actually taking full responsibility for myself, right? I'm no longer putting the responsibility out in the world, or when this happens, I will do this. This energy is, hey, do your shit, and I'm going to give you miracles. So with this new moon coming into next month, it will be that. It's going to be a clearing of your life, your emotions, wounds. It's going to be clearing of finances, wherever you feel stuck, basically. And the opportunity is there, but you got to walk through it. So you actually have to take some steps to get there. And I wrote down a few big shifts and themes for this new moon. One of the things that came up when the way I do this, let me explain, is I talk to spirit. I'm a medium, I'm a channeler. So I just meditate in the energy and I receive messages. And this is every month, they're very different, the ceremonies, because the messages come in very different. And whatever I receive, I like to give and offer to everybody else because that is why I am here. And so today they were like, oh, quality of sleep. We are receiving a lot of DNA activations, a lot of upgrades, and the only way we can embody that is by sleeping. So most of us are like, oh, we got to work, we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do blase. And I'm going to ask you to kind of slow down a little bit. And if you're tired, to actually give yourself that rest. Maybe it's not a nap. Maybe it's just sitting down 10, 15 minutes and just giving your body and the nervous system what it needs. Or maybe it is taking a nap like I did myself today out of nowhere. And so really tune into that feminine side within us to ask ourselves, does the body feel pain? Am I swollen? Are my glands swollen? Are my lymph nodes swollen? Where in my body is asking for attention? And how can I, as a somebody that is evolving, how can I support my body in that? So sleep is huge so that the spirit and the universe can help us upgrade. So you could wake up in one day, from one day to the next, full of more light. You could be full of more awareness. You could be full of more clarity or motivation to do something. And it is by self care, right? This year, the whole topic about this year is about us and self development. So you'll see that if you continuously come to my spaces, is that I'll be talking about, okay, this is the year of self. How do you treat yourself? What do you want to do? Where do you want to expand, especially in our soul aspect? And mental health is another thing. Where are we sitting? So look at where your baseline is. Am I constantly tired? Am I constantly depressed? Am I in anxiety? Am I in panic? And look at where the baseline emotion is. And we're going to want to start to actively changing that into a higher state of an emotion. And it could look like an example for me is sometimes I could get into this funk of over being in my feminine where I'm a little bit too lazy and I'm like, oh, well, yeah, that'll be done. I'll manifest it. And that's great because I used to be the opposite spectrum, but now I'm learning how to balance the two. It's like, okay, I'll rest and listen to my body, but I also got to, as soon as I get up or watch that show or read that book, take an action. So look at where can you take one small little action to give your body some rest, to give your body the container to heal and receive these DNA upgrades. And in that sense, like when I do that to myself, I end up feeling more conscious and more aware throughout my day, more present. And that's what we're being asked to do. And the four themes for this new moon is one, like I said, surprise shifts in our world. So we might see this as Technology, right? AI might blow up. There might be more new technologies this year. If you're into working with technology or anything, this might be a great thing for you as well. It could be huge shifts in the planet, maybe earthquakes. It could be huge shifts within our governance and how we all work as societies together this year. The second one is shifts in our inner world. So just exactly how we're going to see this in the outside of us, we're going to see a lot of shifts inside of us. And what does that look like? It looks like, right, usually a lot of emotions. Like today I'm happy, tomorrow I feel like shit, the next day I'm angry, the next day I don't know what. And it's like, what is going on with me? I'm moving through all these shifts and emotions. What my angels always tell me to deliver is that we are purging. Our cells contain memory, our cells contain information, and what we're doing is kind of purging these cells. Every time we do some energy work or every time we come into a space like this, which by the way, I called all of our angels and I asked whoever needs to be here and to kind of guide us as we're talking and we're engaging, we're also moving energy. They made it very clear that our cells and our organs, all that are really changing. And we might feel bouts of different energy, bouts of different emotions at times, and almost feel like a very roller coaster ride. So expect that. And if it happens, just hold yourself and be like, oh, I just know this is the process. And really don't bring judgment into it, was the main thing that they told me. And reevaluating our roles in the world and our social circles. So, what does that mean? It means that this month into the next month, we're going to be in forms of reevaluating like, how do I show up in my life? Or do these friends or family members still benefit me, who I am trying to become? Do I have to stay in that circle? So, you're going to be questioning a lot of like, is this my place? Is this where I should belong? And as humans, we end up like holding on and attaching to people, places, and things because we feel bad or we think we need to. And that's going to start to break apart and be like, no, what are you wanting to be? Who do you need to be to get there? And what do you need to let go to get into that process? Even if it's family members, even if it's a job, even if it's a relationship, that is going to be really strong this month. So watch out for that and see, yeah, is this group of friends still fitting the person that I am? Am I still in sync or am I here just trying to honor because I believe that friends should stay forever for, a lifetime. So that's really what you should be looking for. And that's great. I mean, I've gone through that a few times and I've revamped and all the friends that I have now really are in alignment with who I am today. But the Sorimar 3 years ago was like totally party drinking, bad habits, not the who I was meant. And I, to this day, had trouble letting go of one or two because I felt like, oh, like I'm a friend to the end. But then I started to just tell spirit, like, do what you need to do, clear out my space because I'm willing to call in new relationships and connections. And that's what's been happening. And it's been beautiful. And number three is questioning our freedom. And that's going to be one of the journal prompts. So for right now, what we're being asked as beautiful souls is, what does freedom mean to us? What freedom meant to you maybe 3 years ago is probably very different to what it would mean now. But moving forward, this is going to be key. Probably one of the biggest titles, should I say, that shows up when I meditate for this year is freedom, freedom, freedom everywhere. Do you want to create freedom of your time, freedom of finances, freedom of, maybe travel, freedom of business? So, an example for me, freedom before 3 years ago was like, oh, just want all the money in the world so that I could do whatever I want. That was my freedom. And then now, in this transition of my new life and everything that I do now, freedom to me just means that I have one, a beautiful connection with source. So when I'm connected with my soul and a higher state of consciousness, the freedom that I feel is immense. I feel like I could take on the world. And that brings me so much joy that no matter what's going on outside of me, I feel free. Then secondly, freedom, hello, welcome. Freedom could look like freedom of time, like, right? The more time you have, the more you can invest on projects you love that are purposeful. The more you can invest on freedom with your children or with family or travel. So really get clear on what the first layer of freedom would look like to you so that you can start calling that in for this year. And lastly, fourth, is deepening our relationships, deepening and healing our romantic relationships, whether we're in one now or whatever we had in the past. What I've seen with my coaching clients is that we're just finishing like a karma cycle, like an ancestral cycle of last minute shit that we need to heal. And a lot has to do relationships. So it could be romantic, it could be family, platonic, or like I said before, with ourselves. But here, in order for us to become our new version of ourselves, we need to heal and amends that energy with the past. And we're being asked to look at that as well. And this can be done by many different things. I always tell clients we could do cutting of cords, we can do timeline shifts and or meditations with the client and the person, right? Or people. We can do letters, we can do basically simulation. You put yourself in the person's shoes and you start to embody that energy. And it's a beautiful way to kind of just disconnect whatever it is, anger, hurt, shame, guilt, and that will help you in your journey. So that was going to create a lot of space of what you're calling in for. Again, going back to the DNA activations, the upgrades that we're getting, we are being asked to create space. And one of the reasons today that I did this was because it was like, okay, hold a little session, tell people about this, but let's create some space energetically in the body so that we can call in what we're desiring. And when I call in people to my space, I do it by prayer or intentions. And and it's the people that are ready to make these little shifts. So I congratulate you guys for being here. Excuse me, I'm getting over a little cough. Um, so healing old wounds in our relationship is huge. An example would be, you know, I left a connection, should I say, like 3 years ago, right? And in that space, I felt very unseen or neglected. And little bits of pieces, like little rice grains, still remain in my energy field. And how do I know? Because it comes into my awareness, and I either get upset or I have an experience of sadness or something. And I'm like, oh, it's still in there, right? Like I thought I worked on that. I thought I healed that, but something made me move from harmony. So if you're trying to always come to the center, right? If you get anything out of this is we're trying to be centered beings. When we're in center, and this a lot, there's a lot that brings us to center, right? It's not only one thing. We can connect to our soul. We could connect to more of a clean energy that we're going to be able to be guided from. Now, if something comes along or someone and is triggering us and we get out of our center, then that's how we know we still need to work on it. Right. And so that's a good way of knowing if you still need healing in some aspects. It's like, oh, if you're thinking about someone and you have any type of reaction that's not love, then let me explore that. So I would love to, talk and continue more on this. We could go off camera. I do a lot of energy healings and use a lot of neuro linguistic reprogramming to change the energy field. But this is basically the basics. And what I want to lean into now is if anybody has any questions, would love to answer the questions before we drop in and do like a clearing. Let's see.
I don't
Yes,
have any
Laura.
questions.
Yes.
No, it's okay. I don't have any questions, but it's really interesting. Everything you say, it's really interesting.
Beautiful. Thank you. It is. I've been doing this for 2 years, and like every new moon, I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. But then when I tap in, it's always something different, another layer that we get to explore and change. And I've been doing this 3 years, and my life changed completely in 3 years because I haven't stopped, right? And it's why I do what I do now. And I, used to think like, oh, the moon, that's crazy. It's just a planet, like, or that's just witchy stuff, which by the way, we're all witches, but it's actually just connecting with energy, and the ground gives us support. The air gives us support, like the sun gives us support. So it is really nice to tune into those. And like God is in everything. So God is always helping us in whatever way we say yes to. And so it's a beautiful thing that we get to explore, right? More of this. So without a doubt, I'm gonna ask you guys to like get ready, sit down. We're gonna just close our eyes, and I'm just gonna guide you guys through a short clearing energetically and get us prepared to write down some stuff on paper. But we'll take a quick break after that. So if anybody wants to drink some water, kind of set up, I'll give you a minute or two. And I am recording this, so like if you came in later and you want to go back, or if anybody wants the recording to continue to work on this for 3 days, which is how the energy works for the moon, then I'm more than happy to share this. All right. So normally I only use my voice, but I'm a little raspy, so just bear with me. I like to always say when we are receiving to put your palms up like this on your lap, and we're just going to sit nice and tall and just close your eyes and just kind of relax into your seat. And we're going to take 3 nice deep breaths through our nose and allow that breath to come all the way down to your belly, to your rectum. And then you're going to start to let go as you let go of all your thoughts, anything on your mind, anything from the day. And on the inhale, you're going to start to visualize beautiful light, full of bright white light come into your body. And deeper the breath, deeper the light goes into your body. And with every exhale, again, you set the intention to let go of any worries, any concerns, problems, your work week. I'm going to ask you to take another deep breath. And this time on the exhale, I want you to just relax into your body. And inside your mind, I want you to give your permission to your body to relax and be present. We call upon your soul, your I am presence, your angels, your guides, spirit, God, Pachamama. And we ask each and every one of them to surround us today in this beautiful ceremony of life as we celebrate ourselves, each other, and a new way of living. We ask each and every beautiful light being present in flesh and in energy to send beautiful light out in a beautiful circle to each and every one of us. And I want you to open up your heart to receive this light, this healing, trusting that you're being filled with beautiful healing light. And I want you to give permission for you to experience something new and to receive whatever it is that you are meant to receive today. And from your heart, I want you to envision or imagine a beautiful light, whatever color comes up, starts to come down your belly, down into your root chakra, the base of your tailbone, comes down your legs, down your knees, down into the ground. And we're going to send this beam of light straight down to the center of Mother Earth's crust. We ask Mother Earth permission to anchor in our divine light into the center of her heart. I want you to just feel right into it. However this comes to you is perfectly fine. And when you feel anchored, I want you to just let go. Tell your body, I give you permission to let go of what no longer serves me. You're going to send it down this anchor, this beam of light down to Mother Earth. And we ask Mother Earth to transmute everything that she's receiving into divine light. And now Mother Earth sends a beautiful beam of light out of her heart up to the universe. And this light goes through the sun, through the portal of higher states of being, of awareness, picking up any information that you're ready to receive, picking up clarity, health, resilience, trust in self, and whatever it is that you would like and desire. I want you to call that in right now. And we ask that light, full of beautiful energy, to come down from the universe to our planet, to the home we reside in. As it enters in, it comes down your head, and allow this energy to flow over you like a waterfall of water. As you relax deeper into your seat, you open your heart to receive, and this light enters your head, touching your eyes, touching your glands, your throat, your heart chakra. And as you take a big, deep breath into this moment, and as you exhale, you feel this energy continue to make its way through through your body, touching every aspect, your hands, your back, your chest, your stomach, your pelvis, your uterus. It continues to go down, cleansing and clearing, removing any low vibrations, any insecurities, any self-sabotage, any fears, any lack, and anything else that's in your vibrational field. And it sends it down to Mother Earth once again to be transmuted into divine light. And allowing this energy to go down all the way to your feet, filling you up. And now I want you to take another deep breath in. Bring in more air into your body, creating more space. As we ask each and everybody on this call for their angel, your primary angel, to come through, step forward. And we're going to ask this angel to send a beam of light into your heart. Everybody's might be different. You might get a smell, you might not see anything, but whatever it is, just open yourself up to receive. Again, I ask that everybody's primary angel send a beautiful healing light of inspiration of whatever the person needs today to help them in the next month, the next years. And that light starts to expand your heart, starts to travel into your arms, down your chest, into your legs, filling up your body like a glowing globe. With every breath you take, this light starts to reinforce itself and it starts to expand outside of your body, creating a beautiful bubble around you. And in this bubble, the light continues to expand. With everything that you need. And we set the intention that nothing outside of this bubble can affect you. That only love and abundance comes through to help you live a purposeful life, to help you get aligned, to help you find your true self and whatever intentions you put in and create today. And so it is, and so it be. And taking a deep breath in, all of us together. And as you exhale, I want you to just have faith that it is already done. It is already done, and so it is. I want to thank all of our angels, our guides, our divine team for being here in this moment, for gathering us together and bringing exactly who needs to be here on this call, for taking the time for each and every one of you guys to be here on this call and putting in the work on yourself to make yourself and everyone in the planet a better place. I want you to take a moment of gratitude for being here, for your soul bringing you here, for taking a moment of your Friday night to being here, and just expand that love to yourself. And as you open your eyes, coming back to this room, I want you to bring in a smile of new energy, a new person, ready to take on whatever comes. Thank you. I don't know why, but I am crying. I was like, oh, emotions were flowing. Beautiful. Thank you guys. That was beautiful. Thank you, angels. If anybody wants to share before we get into some journal prompts, could share some experiences. If you guys seen anything, felt anything, I'd love to hear. Or you could type it on the chat. Let's see. Okay. Well, for me, I always get these beautiful, I never, first of all, when I first started this, I didn't even know what intuition was. I had no idea what energy was or anything about spirituality. And as I've gone in my journey and had my coaches and dedicated my life to learning about myself, I could hear, I could feel, and I have different experiences, right? And this is one of the things I always like to tell people is like, hey, we can start with nothing and really evolve into getting really connected with our spiritual self if we put in the work. Because I am a testament that I had no idea when my teacher was like, well, you're intuitive. I'm like, what? What is that? So I was very ignorant to all this. But the way I channel stuff is I see it. And whatever I see is what I say. And that's exactly what I said. And so it was very beautiful. Um, you'll always be in my containers. We'll always get a clearing. That's the beauty of it. That's one of the things that they always say is like have clearings so that the new can unfold. And so it was very nice to have that done, right? And I was able to see the color that came into my heart was pink, right? It was like love, like self love. And we always love others, right? What came up for me was like, oh, you're always loving others, but like, how much do you love yourself? Like, you're always giving and giving and giving, but do you give yourself that much? And last say last 6 months, I've been really into self love and really dating myself and really reconnecting with my soul, because I had lost it in a transition, right? Like, we could be somewhere and we could do all this work, and then one little thing takes us out of our center, and then we have to start all over. And that's what happened to me. I had lost myself for a moment, and it's been a journey of like a whole year to come back to this moment. And I am so happy to be here. Thank God I'm back. Hell yes. Fuck yes. um, so, and yes, like that's what came through me. And obviously, I did see a lot of angels. There was a lot of presence around us. So that was very beautiful. I love to see that. And so, yeah, very thankful. And hello, beautiful. How are you? Is it you, Eugene?
It's Ugne.
Ugne. Oh, that's beautiful. Where are
Yeah.
you from, Ugne?
I'm from Lithuania.
Ah,
Yeah.
beautiful.
I wanted to share something, and I have a question as well.
Absolutely.
So I had a few conversations today with my friends, and the reoccurring theme, and you surprised me because you mentioned as well, is connecting with the angels, asking
Hmm.
for the guidance from the angels, from the universe. And at this point of time, like for the past couple of days, I'm so confused with what I'm feeling, what I'm doing, where should I go next? And my friend said how she asked for guidance for the angels, and now you did, and I'm like, okay, I need to connect more. I need to talk to universe, ask and find my intentions and the right question. So thank you so much for that. Yeah, and I have a questions for you. You said that for the past half a year you were like dating yourself and reconnecting with yourself. So can you share like maybe like any prompts or practices? What helped you to find your like to reconnect with your
Yeah,
soul?
absolutely. Thank you for asking and sharing. So yes, it's funny because like you popped on when I was talking about the themes. That's exactly what I talked about. So it's beautiful to see how everything's synchronized. Um, we are being really connected. I'll touch base, like try to answer, and if I forget anything, let me know. But the theme that we see, right? And we're going to start to see this worldwide. The more we get in these containers, the more you guys can start to understand what are the energies and what's coming so that you prepare yourself for what's ahead. This is what these spaces are for. And the themes that I see with myself, clients, and everybody that's around me is that we are almost being shooken up, and things that just don't resonate with who you're meant to be as a soul here have to leave. So we can feel chaotic. We can feel like, oh my God, I have 10 different things to go to. I don't know which way to go. And I don't know what's being asked of me, because most of us humans, all of us, we were trained to use the logical mind. And the logical mind was like, this makes sense, right? This is where I started my journey, and I'll share a little bit. It's like, oh, this makes sense. And I have to do this. I have no time. I have to do this. And what we're finding now is that in the last 3 years, we've gone little by little, but what we're finding now is that we have to get rid of that logical sense and really start to be led by our intuition, be led by our soul, be led by our angels, right? Our soul is a higher state of angels. Like, not to get into all of this, I could do a little class on this because it's a whole thing. Is energy is energy. You can learn how to read energy, and you can learn how to read the signs of the world. And you can ask in prayer for guidance, but you also have to learn how to lower down your thoughts, lower down your way of thinking and being, so that you can pay attention and be aware of those signs. So like spirit will talk to you through other people. You probably being here is not a coincidence. It's like, oh, I meant to hear this. I meant to be in this space for either motivation or for knowledge or whatever it is, you know? So spirit's always talking to us through people, through numbers, through they're called synchronizations or synchronicities, through to me, like I could meditate, I could sit and ask, and sometimes I get it right there, other times I get it days after. It really depends on your lifestyle and you slowing down to be able to listen. So how do we do that, right? Well, like 3 years ago, I used to be a dental hygienist. So I used to work in a dental office, very corporate. My life was very busy, and my logical mind as a child was survival mode. I have to make a lot of money to survive. I have to make a lot of money and to have all this stuff to feel good, right? And then life, just like in a place where you are, I was very chaotic and I had an accident. And in that accident, I started to look for other modalities to help me with pain. And I had a spine injury and nothing was helping me. And I was depressed. I was like a hot mess. And I was like, "Oh God, like this cannot be my life." And I ended up meeting somebody that worked with energy. And she was the first person that came out to me, was like, "Well, energy starts this way. We do an energy healing, clearing, and you start to evolve." And I was like, "Oh, that's bullshit. That's crazy." And I was like, "This is not great. This is not real." But long and behold, I did what I do now, she was doing, and she did a lot of energy work. So I went to her for a whole month, and I started to see that I was more present every day. I started to learn what energy was and the signs, and I started to realize, like, oh wait, the busyness and the constant, you know, um, paying attention to outside of the world is just a program. It's a condition from our culture and from our ancestors. But if you could learn and unlearn, let's just say that, unlearn what we learned and learn how to just slow down and have practices, which I'll share in a second. Every day, you'll start to connect more. And like, it's almost like the movie The Matrix. It sounds kind of crazy, but I can kind of slow down the waves of my brain enough where I could see a lot of things that I wouldn't be able to see if I was rushing, if I was doing things, if I was always out. So, how do we listen, right? How do you find yourself? Is basically for me what I did in that sense. I went on a spiritual journey. I hired my teachers and I was like, I want to learn everything about energy and about spirit and about myself. And it was a process that got me here. It wasn't overnight. And this process that I talk about in the last 6 months was the same thing. It wasn't an overnight thing. It was one about understanding what was my wounds, what was my blocks, what was my limiting beliefs, what was the story that kept on playing unconsciously, because right, we know what's wrong with us. We know certain things, but behind the scenes there's a whole different energy that's running and creating your life as you see it today. So it's about finding what is creating your life today and then bringing that to light, and then when you see that, like a limiting belief for me, to give you something to compare, was I need to be doing all the time so that I could have money. I need to be, creating. This was years ago before I started this, but that was my mindset. So everything for me was survival. Everything was doing, everything was achieving, everything was like, oh, I got to do. And I was very successful, but then I burnt out and then I had the accident, which was all telling me, oops, that's the wrong way. So once I started to see how I was conditioning, how was I working, then I started to reprogram. So there comes the practices. Like every morning I do an energy healing on myself. Every morning I cleanse my energy field. I use a lot of, it's called sacred geometry, to protect my aura. I mean, I do this for a living. So like every time I talk to a client, I work and I get in their energy and I'm able to read their energy. So mine is a little bit more like high end stuff, but I teach the same thing that I do. So we would do like clearings every morning and we would start to learn how to lower your mind, the logical mind. So learning how to meditate. And then when you learn how to meditate is not to be in silence, is actually just to be aware. I'm aware of this thought. I'm aware of what's going on. I'm aware of what I'm thinking about or what I'm stressing about and not become of that. So if you can learn how to detach from what's going on in your life and just observe, there's a lot of information there. And then you take the necessary actions every day, slowing down, right? Meditation would be where I would have you start. Meditation, Reiki, energy healings, and we could talk more personal on another after this, but it would be creating the space in your life is key to understanding and learning how to talk to your angels. And then once I started to do that, I started to learn about energy and practice like how to feel energy, how to see energy, and then you start to call in your guides. And when you start to call in your guides, now I could like tell them like, "Hey, Archangel Gabriel, you're on my left, Michael's on my right." But it's about learning like, okay, when they come in, how do they feel? And that's more advanced. You could just say a prayer, right? Like, I need help understanding what I need to change, or I would love help on which path I need to take. And what I would suggest is for you to ask, and then always ask that it's soft and it comes in a more compassionate way, or it's delivered in a compassionate way, or maybe clear. Because in the past, I've always said, like, oh, okay, angels or guides, I'm ready to see what I need clearing or take whatever needs to be out of my life. And I lost my job, I lost my relationship, I lost my home, and I was pushed into a whole new life like this. And that was very uncomfortable and painful. So now I know my lessons. So ask in a gentle way, just say, hey, I'm willing to see. Can you show me? And then start paying attention. An example would be, let's say you want to move. It would be like, can you show me where I need to move? And then start to see what comes into your life after. After you ask, just see, observe what comes into your life. And then that's how you'll know where if you need to be. And it's a little bit more in depth, but I would say start meditating, start to calm, and like if you could learn how to do a energy healing, and we could talk about this later. And then you could start to ask your guides and learn the language of your soul. Every Excuse me, hold on one second. Where's my mm. Every student that I teach, the soul and their angels has a different dialect with them. So like what works for me is a little different than what would work for Laura and yourself. So it's about learning that language. But you can start by asking just for clarity and just be open to see the signs. An example would be, I want clarity to see if this relationship is the guy for me. And then the universe starts to have you and him fight all the time. And then you're still holding on to them, like, oh, no, 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 no. That is the universe showing you, hey, you guys are fighting. It's not meant to be, but we don't want to see it. Right. So you got to know that when you ask for something, be open to see it no matter what, no matter, and take the action. Otherwise, it's just going to come in and you're not going to notice it, and because the angels are always talking to us. It's not like I'm just tuned in. They're always there. They're always present. It's about us lowering our mind and the noise in our mind to see it. And I hope that answered your question. But yes, we are being asked to be more connected spiritually and understand ourselves at a soul level. So this is what you're going to see is there's no way around this. We're not gonna from here. It's like, oh, I'm not really interested in being a psychic or medium. It's not about that. It's about you connecting to your soul and then living the life that's led by your soul. And that's basically what I teach. So you'll hear more of this if you come to my sessions, or we could talk and have a consult. So that being said, I hope I answered your questions. If anybody else has any questions. Okay. So I have written, I think it's 4 journal prompts. So I'm going to ask you guys to have a piece of paper and write them down or take a picture of the screenshot, because you won't be able to answer all of these right now. I'm going to give you this as a post homework assignment, so that you could really answer this. And then in 2 weeks, I'll be throwing a full moon ceremony so that we can clear whatever it is and then start again the new moon. So you guys can stay in contact and see if you guys want to join that. And let me see where my notes are. Here. Okay. So these are the journal prompts. Let me see if I can make it bigger. So they will be, you could take a picture of this screenshot if you want. Number 1, is there an area in your life that feels stagnant, meaning it's not moving and needs refreshing, right? It could be business. It could be like clarity, right? Like, oh, there's no clarity coming in. And what changes can you make to freshen up this energy? So going back to what you had mentioned, if you're not sure of what to do with your life and where to go, then we need to bring you back to your center, right? And this is what, if you go back and listen to the recording I talked about in the beginning, it's coming us back to our center. And where we're there, we automatically connect to a higher state of consciousness, or we're more connected to the authenticity within us. And that's where you'll get the answers. So if we're really confused and we are not getting answers, then that means you're in your mind. You're still up here and you got to drop into your body, drop into the connection. Number 2, think of a past relationship or friendship that has hurt you. What did you learn from this relationship? So I like to scan my whole life, and whoever I still think about is somebody that I still need to work on. So I ask this with everybody in my life. And then I say, what is it that I needed to learn from this person? Right. And I bring it back to my connection that I had. I had a very divine soul connection, which we call twin flames. And this person was my mirror. And I had so much anger that it didn't work out. But in fact, he was just in my life to show me where I needed the healing. And so now when I look at that, I'm like, oh, well, I connected with him in a sense just so that I could learn how to love myself and how to fall back in love with myself, right? How to never ever give my power away to anybody else. And that was the deepest relationship and connection that I've had that made me really grow from my spiritual growth, is like bringing me back to me and like falling in love with me. And I dance by myself. I will bring myself on dates. I will have sexy time with myself. I really go above and beyond to connect with my soul and my body because that's what's being asked of me. But through that, you can have the ecstasy, you could have clarity. All of a sudden, you can have very clear thought, like, do this. So it is with you, right? It's learning that. And number 3, it is, what does personal freedom, which we talked about, look like and feel like to you? And write about that. So that will change as you move on into this year, right? What we are starting today, or in January, what we started was building month to month the person that we want to be. With each new moon ceremony that I do, or full moon, we're actually taking 1 month. That's it. Because there's sometimes people are like, look at the whole year. I got to do all this from 1 month to the other. Who do you want to be? So I would suggest create freedom in your life from today till next month. An example would be, for me, I want to be able to create um, my future freedom, right? Like the freedom and overall was create a sustainable business and courses and stuff that run itself, and I could just come back here and have these, classes, or be in connections or ceremonies or teach from love, not from I need to do it for money. And so what I'm building now is little by little that freedom eventually. Another freedom for me is it's really important for me to connect with family and connect with myself and nature. So even if I have a lot of work, my mindset used to be I have to do all this and then maybe I'll have time to connect later. I've reversed that mindset and it's helped me a lot to manifest what I desire. Is no, no, no. I'm first. My personal freedom and time with myself is first, and then everything else comes. And it's a lot easier, feels juicier, feels better. But that is a mindset that we have to kind of shift. And fourth, write down what you are manifesting for this new moon. What do you want to create? Be very specific in the present tense as if it already happened. So for new moon manifestations and ceremonies, normally I have like 20 minutes that we work on it, but today I'm going to keep it short. Is the way you write this in a new moon is like I write it. Thank you for the abundance of whatever in my life. Thank you for the abundance of time in my life. So you want to write it as you already have it. So an example would be, thank you for all the clarity that I have, right? Thank you for all the clarity. So you don't have it just yet, but you're really telling the universe that you are, because it's already coming to you. So when we manifest, it's about the faith. I have faith that it's already on its way. And that was one of the things that I was doing in the clearing and bringing that energy to you guys, is to have the faith that it's already on its way. So another way you could write this is, thank you for the beautiful soul tribe or soul friends or soul clients that I have in my life. So I'm calling that in as in a way that I already have it. And one of the things that I do every night is I just sit down in gratitude. Thank you. Thank you, God. Like after this, it'll be one of those thank you for having all these people here, for this connections, for me allowing to share my medicine. And I'm always in gratitude. And the more gratitude you have, the more energy you send out to the world of more of that. And that's when I get all these miracles and I manifest travel. I manifest, I mean, things that I've never even imagined come to me for free because I'm already celebrating it before I even get it. So that is key for the number 4. And that would be it. So as you finish these journal prompts at the bottom, you want to write like you already have it. So just like I said in the meditation, all this and more. So I'll even write it here. You could write um, all this and more. And so it is, and so it be. So when we're talking about energy and learning about energy, every thought, every word, every action means something. And this is like why I said I could speak about energy and practices. And it takes 3 months for me to coach somebody through this. Because if I look at myself in the mirror and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna look ugly today, I'm already sending one tiny little speck of energetics out there that I'm not happy with myself. And that's gonna come back to me in some sort of way. So when you end anything with all this and more, and so it is and so it be, you're claiming that this is true. Everything that you journaled, everything that you're manifesting, especially number 4, you are claiming that it's already done and it's already this way. So I would sit in the knowing and in the gratitude that thank you for me receiving this. And start off with something small and see how we, from this month to next month, what we can create and call in and what manifests for you guys. Beautiful. And with that, if anybody has any questions, again, take a screenshot picture. Would love to keep in touch and have you guys in 2 weeks for the full moon. We'll be doing something very similar but very different. It's more about releasing and creating space so that you can attract. And that's really important for manifestation. You always have to have a clearing, always have to create space in your mind and in your field so that you can be able to be the magnet of things. So, and that brings us to the new moons after. So, thank you guys so much. And if you guys have any questions, I would love to open the mic or have any statements. Thank you. All right.
I just want to ask, you said that it's possible to share the recording?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. Did you send me a message on WhatsApp?
Yes.
Okay, then I could send you the recording once it downloads and you can look at like the first phases of that. And then we could
Mhm.
chat on there. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And it was a prompt too. So it was a blessing to have anybody on here. I was like, oh, I don't know, Spirit, why are you having me do this? Normally I plan this at least a week before, but it was really nice to have you guys here and share this, with you guys. So, yeah. Oh, the colors mean. So blue, colors mean different things, right? Each chakra has a color. Also, the blue is all about clarity. It's about the third eye is blue, and so the crown can be a little bit blue, but it's usually the third eye or the throat, depending on the grade of blue. So the third eye is about how you see the world, your perspective on things. It could be when I asked your guide to give you the color that you need. For me, it was like love. So my body needs a little bit more love. So for you, it's probably clarity of how you see things and speaking up your truth. Because again, that would be blue. If it was green, it could be like, oh, it's expanding your heart chakra. So every color is different. Yellow is like personal power, self worth. But that call in is intended for them to give you the energy that you needed at that moment to help you see and like use your voice in your case. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. Well, Samantha, I hope you enjoyed it and you had a great time and you got something out of it. And if you guys definitely want the recording or if you want to talk to me through WhatsApp, you have my number, send me a message. We can expand on other things. But thank you guys for showing up for yourselves and having this Friday night with me and happy manifesting. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Ciao, ciao. Bye, beautiful.